Katie, Jeff, welcome to Us Weekly. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
And welcome to New York. We're a couple weeks into the New York journey. Not quite a New Yorker yet. We're debating when we can call Katie a New Yorker, correct?
Yeah, she doesn't take the subway at least once for that
Once
to start.
successfully, from start to finish.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, then it's going to be a long time before I'm
Yeah.
a New Yorker, so that's okay.
Okay, well, we have a lot of fun stuff to talk about, but we also have some big life stuff to talk about, and I thank you again for being here.
Yeah.
So I know you've talked about some of this already, but I was looking up actually some of the most searched questions about you and this journey already, so clearly you're already making a difference because people are looking things up in relation to you and breast cancer, and a lot of people, I think, just want to hear, again, the story in your words of finding the lump in your breast. What were you doing a self-exam? What happened? Like, just take me back.
Yeah, I was not in the habit of doing a self-exam, but I definitely was in the habit of just getting to know my body, you know, and I know that sounds so weird to say, but, you know, I'm very familiar with how my breast should feel. And I remember it was last summer when I first felt a lump, and I, to be honest, was maybe even a little triggered because I'd had a lump before, but it was a benign cyst. I had it removed and it was nothing. And so I kind of thought, okay, maybe it's that, maybe it's my time of the month. You know, it's summer, I'm working out more. And I just kind of brushed it off for a fairly long time. And then there was a point where I realized, like, hey, this isn't going away. I should probably get this looked at. You know, is it getting bigger? So when I went into the doctor, I kind of expected them to tell me the same thing, that, oh, it's going to be a benign cyst, let's just get it removed. I was not mentally prepared for them to say that it was actually breast cancer, especially because it doesn't run in my family in any capacity. I'm 34 years old. It was a painful lump, and just all these things that just were not stacking up to equal cancer. And so when it was just a big shock for me.
And how long was it? It was a couple months from when you initially felt something to then when you were at the doctor?
I would say at least 4 or 5 months of delaying getting it checked out. And the thing is, and what I'm really trying to do now is, I had no idea how common breast cancer was in women our age. And had I seen someone my age last summer, you know, preaching, hey ladies, get those lumps checked out, I think I would have got that lump checked out sooner, instead of just assuming like, oh, breast cancer only happens when you're older.
Right.
And unfortunately, that's not the case.
I mean, I think the majority of us would think that and just be like, oh, well, that'll go away, or I'll deal with that later. And do you know if, have doctors told you anything about, like, if you were here sooner, this would be different, or can you not even go there?
I do think if I wouldn't sooner, it would have been different. Because right now, due to the size of the mass, I have to do treatment first before surgery. If you're lucky enough to catch it sooner, and that's what I tell people, people are a lot of times scared.
Right.
If you catch it sooner, you can actually get it removed first, maybe even bypass chemo because it's so small and you caught it early.
Yeah.
So for me, it's larger, it's stage 3, so unfortunately I have to go that route.
Okay. What is it like to kind of hear the words like breast cancer and try to like process in real time when they're saying things like stage 3 and using very fancy medical jargon? Like, what is it? What are you thinking in moments like that?
I think for the first 2 weeks of my official diagnosis, I was learning a lot of new jargon I had never used before, and it was very heavy. It was very, a very sad, I think, feeling for me. You know, it's just like I didn't expect to be exposed to this kind of terminology. But now I'm at a place, especially with breast cancer, and kind of an acceptance of, like, you know, 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer. Breast cancer is curable. It's treatable, it's curable. I am triple positive, which is the most researched kind of breast cancer. So in this entire process, I've never thought this is the end for me. I've always thought, you know, this is just a year of inconveniences, and I just can't wait to just get to the other side of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very positive outlook, and it's true. Like, all these things are true. It's just how do you get there? I assume you're a man over here, might be a little helpful. Tell me, Jeff, for you, what has it been like to support Katie at this time? Obviously, not what you guys thought you were going to be doing right now.
I mean, it's easy to support her, you know. I would say like navigating the support and making sure I'm supportive but not overwhelming is a good thing. And you agree that sometimes like I can be too much, or like I can be maybe too helpful because I'm such a great guy. I'm such a really good guy. No, but it's not hard to support the person you love. It's just more. It's more about just showing up and just being there for when they need you, and then giving them the space when they need, giving them the time when they need it. But mostly just showing up and being there for them, and listening more than talking. which is hard for me to do as a comedian.
Yeah, listen.
I know. He's been great at matching the energy, because even for me, there's some days where I am so sad. I know people go, oh, you're so strong. It's like, I might appear that way. Even right now, it's like a very upbeat conversation, but I'm also in therapy, and some days I'm very sad. Some days we're very fun and playful and make very, out-of-pocket jokes.
Right.
She's got some pretty dark jokes.
Humor is a huge way to cope with things.
Truly. And so, yeah, I think him just being able to, like, match whatever mood shows up that day. He's been to every single appointment with me so far. He's done every single shot that's involved with IVF, which is related to this, too. So, yeah, he's just been a superstar.
Thanks.
I love that. You mentioned that do you have chemo before you have your surgery, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, when does that start?
So my treatment is a little more complex because I actually enrolled for a clinical trial.
Oh, wow, okay.
And I'm going to put it in the most simple terms. So next Thursday, I will find out which group I'm randomly selected for. Group A is actually non-chemo to try first.
Okay.
Or Group B is chemo, but like a lesser version compared to what the standard of care would be. So basically what they're trying to do and what they're trying to prove right now is that there are treatments available that are more tailored to you as an individual. Otherwise, right now, a lot of patients are just getting 6 rounds of chemo and then they kind of figure it out from there.
Got it.
And so not everybody needs 6 rounds of chemo. Not everyone needs this version of chemo. And so this is called the I Spy trial. And so it's been around for a couple years. And I qualified for it and I had the choice to opt in. And I am doing that. So we'll find out actually next week which route I'm going and how that goes with my my cancer.
How do you make the decision to opt into something like that?
It was easy for me because my biggest frustration in gearing up for my treatment was everyone's like, oh, I did 6 rounds of chemo. And I'm like, why is everyone doing 6 rounds of chemo? And chemo's so intense for your body that I was like, what else is there? But I had kind of already accepted it. And so when I went into my very first appointment here in New York, when they told me that, there was no hesitation. It was an easy choice for me. If I can do something that's less for invasive for my body, but still treats me the same way, why wouldn't I do that?
Right.
So I'm hopeful. The thing people I think misunderstand is that I won't be getting care. But when you're in a clinical trial, you are constantly being monitored for the success or failure of the treatment.
Right.
And in the event that it's not working for me, then I will default to the standard of care.
Right. They're not using you as an experiment in a way where they're going to watch you fail and not step in. It's just another way to be kind of tailoring this treatment and seeing what happens.
Exactly.
It's like we've all seen Grey's Anatomy, but it's not always quite as dramatic as the clinical trial fails or she's swapping out the placebos.
Exactly.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
Makes sense. We're putting it in terms we can all understand.
Yeah.
You mentioned you're in therapy. How do you emotionally, physically, obviously chemo's on you, but how do you emotionally prepare to start something like that?
My biggest thing that has helped me emotionally, and I really encourage other people to do it, is sharing your story. A lot of people have told me that they battled cancer in private, and I don't know why, and that's their choice. But for me, something about sharing my feelings and other survivors then validating my feelings or telling me it gets better, it's so healing. And whether that's with your face and name to it or a private burner account on Reddit, whatever you need to do to talk about your feelings and your fears and what your experience is, there's going to be so many people to bring you up. People say it's worst club, best members.
Aww.
So, and that's really truly how I feel in going through all of this.
The better side of the internet. We always see the dark side of the internet, but there's good sides of the internet. That's always nice to hear about, right? I mean, I feel like as someone who's been on TV on and off for a long time, you've seen it all, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's been just a different experience this time, just to see the kind of support that's there. And meeting new people just on the internet who aren't from the reality TV world or even reality TV fans. Like, I didn't see you on the show, but I saw you have breast cancer, and they're sharing their story with me.
Yeah. How has you guys' relationship been tested in a way that maybe you didn't see coming? Had you been through other tests or hardships that before this that maybe you knew you would apply to this, or is this one of the first big kind of hurdles in?
This is my 3rd time.
Yeah.
Honestly, you would think it would cause more tribulation or cause more problems between you, but I think it's bonded us more than anything else. I think there's something that we'll always have this as a bonding, strengthening thing, which is why we're also moving up the wedding a little bit.
Oh, so I'm hearing we might be moving up the wedding is what you're alluding to.
Yes.
When are you guys getting married?
In 2 days, actually.
In 2 days. Okay,
Yeah.
tell me everything. Is this like a city hall situation?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was actually, I'll actually cry. It was so sweet. Obviously, we were wanting to plan a wedding, and there's a lot of emotions that come in with chemo and what the impact and the health, and like we don't know what the next year looks like. And one night he said, I want to show you that I still love you and that I'm here to stay. And he said, I will get married to you tomorrow. And yeah, we flew our parents in. They actually arrived today.
Yeah.
We got our marriage license, and a friend just gonna marry us, I think, in our apartment.
In our apartment, and then we're just gonna go to dinner.
Yeah. So
More for the paperwork, you know?
yeah, more for the paperwork. It's a sweet sentiment of his offer of, you know,
Wow.
Yeah.
being there for me. We still will have a wedding
Yes.
in the future, but it was just kind of this really, I'm speechless still, like kind gesture of just like him saying, like, truly in sickness and in health, like he's proving that he's here to stay. So.
And I also just want to be able to like be in the hospital with her and just be like, my wife's in there, you know? I think there's more power to that, and I don't want to be like, I don't want to be not with you for any of this.
Yeah.
Even though I go back on the road in April, but besides that, I just want to be everywhere with you as much as I can. So.
I mean, that's a very powerful sentiment to want to say, I'm here for my wife. I want to be in the room with my wife. Whereas a lot of people might, be scared or might pull back and say, this is a lot, like one step at a time, and he's going the other way. Like, obviously that makes you emotional.
Yeah, and I mean, the statistic, I think, unfortunately, a lot of women who are diagnosed, men are more likely to then leave their partner than if the roles were reversed.
Like 6 times more likely.
What's wrong with men?
I don't know, but
I don't know, but I got a good one. So, yeah. So yeah, he shows up every day, and he does it in ways that just continue to surprise me. So.
Oh my gosh, are you wearing white? What are we doing?
It's very like we're trying, like we want to balance, like it's for us, but we want our parents to be there, but we also are kind of reserving other things for our other family and friends who won't be there for that. For example, like I am wearing a cream, nice dinner dress. We won't really be exchanging any personal vows. We'll just repeat, what we have to say, and we don't even have like a photographer. Like it's very more for us, and
we're very private people.
No, but I totally get what you mean.
And so it does really just like allow for whenever the wedding it gets to be. There's not this like pressure of like, whatever. It's like we just get to have a big celebration.
Yeah, parents only. Like
for this one.
For this, because that's a slippery slope, and
Totally.
we just want to make it intimate,
Yeah.
And
Parents' reaction to this
Thrilled.
excitement?
Yeah, they were great, and then I remember calling and just being like, "Can you fly out in a couple weeks?" And so we organized it, and they just came in.
Yeah.
God. Wait, weren't you the one about the aunt that was like mad at the Bachelor hometown?
Yes.
Is Aunt Lindsay?
Aunt Lindsay has met Jeff.
Okay, does Aunt Lindsay approve? That all just came back to me as you were talking about your parents. I'm like, Katie's home. Like, what am I? Oh my God, there was an aunt.
Yes. He's met the family. They love him, and I don't know what it is. I mean, people see us obviously interact, and whether it's our friends or family, they go, yeah, we see something different. They can tell it's not like anyone else that I've been with.
It's easy. I don't think I've ever been in a relationship where I've truly felt like it was my best friend as well as the person I love.
Yeah.
And you guys kind of had a non-conventional start, no? You met online?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was obsessed with me for a while.
She was a fangirl.
She just kept sending me messages.
Don't ruin the nice moment we just had.
You don't handle it.
He's a comedian. He can help himself.
Default to
I know, I get it.
No, she followed me. I noticed because she's so beautiful. I didn't know who she was, and I don't watch reality TV. I thought she was like a makeup influencer or something.
Oh, hell yeah.
She followed me, and then I saw that she had posted like some clips, and I saw how pretty she was. And I think I messaged her first after she followed me, and then I followed her back, and then I just said like, if you're ever in New York, let me know. And she said New York would eat me alive, and I said, well, let me know. And then that was the end of it for a while.
Wow.
And then I ended up getting hurt in Hawaii. I fell, and I cut my hand open. I was in the hospital for 3 days. And in that time, she was like, hey, I hear you're in LA. Why aren't we're supposed to get a drink. And I was like, I'm actually in the hospital. And she was I had to fight her to not come to the hospital and bring me stuff before we'd even met.
Wow.
And it was the first
Were you guys
day.
talking a lot?
No, so there's an important piece to this story that I want to share with the date.
Okay.
So because I was at the time, I was like, I want to be a comedian. I started following comics, and that's what I wanted my feed to be. And if you've ever looked at his page, you just can't help but like truly fall in love with him as a person. His personality, he's so just like pure and just like charming. I don't know. No.
You got a great social media manager.
Well, so here's the crazy part. So March 22nd of last year, I sent a clip to my girlfriends. I had never talked to him. We had never met.
Okay.
I sent a clip.
A year ago today.
I was going to say almost.
On the day we're going to now get married.
Yeah.
So March 22nd, I sent his clip and said, "My future husband." Now, at the time, I didn't realize just how real
that you're a witch.
That I was manifesting my actual future husband.
Yeah.
And so when we were looking at dates, I was like, wait, it has to be March 22nd.
We were just going to do it the 21st. We didn't have any importance to the date. And then she's like, can we just do it a day later? I'm like, that's perfect.
What was in this clip that was so great? Do you remember? What was the joke? What sold it?
It was a sweatshirt.
He's like, don't tell the story. Why? Make it a different bit.
It was at the Comedy Cellar. Shout out the best comedy club in the world. And I had a sweatshirt on, like a white hoodie.
Gap
and
sweatshirt.
Somebody made fun of, like an audience member was like looking at me, like, you making fun of my sweatshirt. So I just it was a clip of me making fun of my own sweatshirt.
Okay.
And then eventually, there's some crass jokes in there, but I made a lot of jokes about my own sweatshirt. It was just a lot of self-deprecation with the crowd. And I can't even,
And that sold it
And
for
that
you.
was-
I mean, I don't know if it was that, like, I just noticed the clip I sent, and I don't know if it was just a period of time, because at the time, again, I'm not thinking I'm being serious.
Yeah.
I was just so like in love with a guy I'd never actually met. You know, like you have that. You're like, oh,
Totally.
he's your internet crush, but he's New York. You know, like I've never talked to him. I don't know. And then like life is so freaking ridiculous, and here we are, almost a year later.
Met less than a year ago. We're getting married in 2 days.
Wow, and you're getting married on the anniversary of your message to your friend saying, "This is my future husband."
Yeah.
This is a lot, and this is all incredible.
Yes.
So you were meeting here in Hawaii in the hospital, and when did you actually meet in person?
So we met on May 5th.
Yep.
May 5th. And it was so funny because it was the day after I did a celebrity poker tournament in Las Vegas, which I won, by the way.
Oh my God, congratulations.
So not only
That's the Bachelor training.
I mean, it was great. But I say I won because one, that meant I was up late the night before. I was drinking during the entire tournament, and the next morning I was hungover, slept through my alarm clock, missed my flight.
Okay.
And we have a brunch date. So I go to like try to get my flight. They're like, no. I'm like,
At the Bel Air Hotel.
yeah, that was where they
We have to tell that part too.
So anyway,
So many layers.
I ended up booking a flight. I like on my like Uber drive home, I'm like ordering McDonald's so I can like sober up and shower and look like presentable for a brunch date when I'm like hungover flying
with
from
your
Vegas.
internet boyfriend.
Yeah, it's the first time we meet. And then we had brunch at the Bel Air Hotel.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pretend like I was like, oh, I go to the Bel Air. It was my manager. I was like, I want to bring her somewhere nice. This is our first date. She had a beautiful red flower dress on and bangs.
Yeah.
She was a different woman back then.
Yeah.
And the Bel Air, it was the Bel Air, right? Because then on her birthday this year, I wanted to do something of like, let's staycation. We've been traveling a lot, things like that. So I forgot it was the Bel Air. And I booked us a 3-night stay at the Beverly Hills Hotel.
Okay.
And we pulled up, and I'm like, "Isn't this special? This is where we had our first date." And she's like, "No, it's not."
I've never been here before.
Counter. And I was like, "Oh!" And I felt like an idiot for 3 days.
Both are great
Both are
hotels.
great.
It was lovely. It was fine. It was great.
It was fine, but it was very funny. Where you're like,
Yeah.
this isn't where we had our first
He
date."
was so. I
Like, was that
I
another
was
girl?
mortified. I was at the front desk too. Everyone at the front desk knew what was
They're
happening.
like, they don't want to be here, but they're staying for 3 nights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. So you go from there, and then you're engaged by the end of the summer.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, we met in person in May. We got engaged end of August.
How did you know that was to do that?
It's really hard to say. I mean, we said it before. It's like when you know, you know. It was a very easy thing. Like, we love talking to each other. We love hanging out with each other. That it was something that I'm like, I've never had this feeling with anybody I've ever been with in my entire life. And why wouldn't I
lock it down. That's what pretty much everybody in my life told me to do.
Yeah.
After meeting her or talking to her, where they're like, don't mess this up. Like my friend Jordan was like, don't mess this up. She's the sweetest girl I've ever met in my entire life. And so I was like, I don't want to let her go. I don't want her to even have that option. Sign some paperwork.
You're mine.
Well, and I think we're both at an age and dating experience. I mean, me especially, as you know, it's like you kind of know how to filter out people very quickly. I kind of joke about this 90-day rule. Like that's when you know if they're going to make it any longer or not. Once you're like in your 30s. And with him and I just kept getting like better and better. And this is long distance.
Yeah.
Better and better and better and better. And I was like, oh. And I mean, even to this day, it still gets better and better. And I'm like, oh yeah, we made the right choice.
I mean, we talked so much on the phone. There would be days where she's like, we barely talked today. I'm like, we have a collective 3.5 hours left.
We barely talked today.
Because it's normally 6 hours of talking, then when it's 3, yeah. But it's just like a lot of like, on the phone together while we're hanging out. And
did
even
you
when
get
I
deep
leave,
quick, or was it all like, I mean, you're both funny people. Was
Yeah.
it like a good combination of joking, or were you like all of a sudden deep in trauma and life and family quick? Like how did you guys just go there and
I
feel
think we kind of
comfortable with each
like pretty much offloaded. Like it was quick right away. We were into each other where we were talking about. I think you FaceTimed me after a week of talking and saying like my future husband. Like you said it to me.
Kid, you were manifesting.
I was drunk when that
She
one
was. I
happened.
didn't want to say that.
I think the impression implied
You were
it.
at a festival with your friends and
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
FaceTiming me saying, I'm going to marry you.
Yeah, I will say something about a long distance relationship. I think really builds a foundation that you don't get to have when you're dating in the same city, because we had to start off on conversation and we had to start off on enjoying that conversation. It wasn't just like drinks and physical affection. It was like communication.
Yeah, it was just a lot of talking, which is great. Like it was a lot of like us just getting to know each other and then like not imagining, like I couldn't imagine going a day without talking to you. Even now when I run to the store, we have 20 text messages between us.
Oh my God, there's just so much to say.
Yeah.
I was gonna say with obviously we were joking, like I've been following your journey since the beginning. I've interviewed you a bunch of times. Would being on something like The Bachelor or Bachelorette, I feel like it could have either effect. One, you know what it's like to get engaged quickly. Not the same way, I'm not comparing it, but like you do know what it's like. And I think for some people it makes them go the other way, where they're like, I never want to do something fast again because I was put into this situation that like escalates everything. It's also like a fake fantasy world. You're not on the phone, you're on like a helicopter. And for 5 minutes, not 6 hours. But like for you, was there any part of you that was like nervous when you were moving fast or falling so fast because you've been in relationships that were kind of pushed that way?
Sure. I do feel like it was different because the difference was we got engaged but talked a ton. On reality TV, despite what people think, you actually don't get to talk a ton, you know? And so with reality TV, you're kind of doing like a coin flip and it's like 50-50, either it works or it doesn't, and you have to kind of test it out in the real world. And so that's kind of like us, like we tested ourselves out in the real world and it's working out, so.
Yeah.
There you go. And you said no, you don't know anything about the reality TV of it all.
No, I don't.
Not your thing.
I've never watched it. I feel like it'd be weird for me to watch it now.
I would not allow it.
I'm gonna say, I feel like maybe one episode, I don't know.
Maybe.
Wherever there's the least making out, that's the one he can watch. But
Yeah.
Maybe like a YouTube clip of you walking up to Matt James or something.
yeah,
That's innocent.
that's
I don't know
perfect.
what that means. I prefer to remain ignorant.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, so not watching reality TV, but would you ever do something with cameras with you guys?
Yeah, I think.
For sure.
To be honest, I do feel like there's been like conversations going around. I mean, I think people enjoy our perspectives and personalities from different standpoint. You have a comedian, and you have this. I always say washed up reality star.
No, you're more than that.
But it's just, I don't know. Our dynamic and our life is very unique and interesting, and
You
so
just take turns bullying each other
yeah, I think
in a fun way.
Yeah.
She pronounces things wrong, and it's hilarious to me.
Okay. Well,
Say B-A...
no.
B-A-G-E-L. Say it.
Okay, I say bagel.
Okay.
I don't.
Horrifying.
That's
I
not
don't-
really what we say in these parts.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay,
if
well-
you say bagel, they're gonna throw things at you.
They're gonna say, would you want it scooped out too? And give you a bunch of sass. They're gonna know you're not from around
She
this
says
part.
Alright.
lox, she says salmon. You
Oh
know.
my god. Anyway.
Again, we're still working on the New York thing.
Yeah. Give me
There's
some
stuff
time.
like that, but
Give me
there's a
some
lot
time.
of like we have our debates are very fun. Our arguments are more hilarious than they are serious.
Yeah.
It's fun.
That's
But,
good.
yeah.
Back to the healthy communication, right?
Yes.
A lot of that.
Would you say that is the biggest difference for either of you in any relationship you've ever had, that it's just like to be able to communicate?
Yeah, I really do feel like there's I've been in a handful of relationships. Obviously, you have too on TV, and it's a lot of like. There's sometimes when you're in a relationship early on where you're like, I feel like they're being dishonest, or like you feel like a vibe of like maybe there's 10% of them I don't know about them yet, and I never felt that with her. I've never felt that way with myself with her. I've always felt like open book with you. That there's nothing I'd ever hide from you. There's no reason to.
Yeah, we're just very like fully ourselves, and I think when you're younger, you're like trained to like make yourself be like desirable, to make yourself make that person like you to match what they want. And at a certain point, you're like, why? And so I think for both of us, we were just like, this is us, take it or leave it, and like we were fully ourselves, and which is a very, I think, unique type of personality.
Yeah.
And it worked. It matched very well.
And you're the first person to not be upset with my goofiness, because I'll dance and sing and like be just sometimes caffeine late in the day silly, and she's the only person that's ever been like cheering me on for it, and then videotaping me and then joking with me about it, as opposed to being like, oh my god, what are you doing right now, you know? Oh, wow. And I just love that too. You make me feel not stupid.
That is adorable. You love each other for who each other are.
Exactly,
Yeah,
as everyone should try to find. So.
I also just noticed, are we wearing rings already?
No.
No.
Well, you both have, okay, what is
Aura
that?
rings.
Oh, Aura ring. Okay, this is not an Aura ring
So
ad.
funny you say that though. This morning, because like, oh shoot, like we have like a ceremony, I guess.
Yeah, you. 6:45 a.m.
I was on Amazon and I ordered like 7 different just like dummy rings for now, because like we have to exchange a ring,
Right.
you know. So those come, I think, today for him to
Okay,
like,
so
figure out.
Amazon rings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
That is, I feel like the sentiment is just so beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's not about, weddings shouldn't be about the rings anyway.
Right.
But this just makes it even more like sweet and like incredible. So I think that's, I was going to ask you if this was going to move up your timeline. I didn't realize that it was actually moving up the timeline so much. Because when were you initially planning to get married?
Not till
maybe
next year?
summer of next year,
Okay.
but this would have been like the planning stage. You
Right.
know, with any kind of wedding, you have to book in advance, you have to
Yes.
do all this stuff, you know, and then as soon as I was diagnosed, I was like, there's no way I'm
course.
planning a wedding. And I again, don't even know what my treatment future looks like. Am I done in 12 weeks? Am I done in a year? Like, how am I feeling, you know? So.
Yeah.
And she didn't really even want a wedding to begin with, like a big wedding initially. And she's like, let's just get it done, you know? And
That
I was.
sounds so not romantic.
Let's get it done.
She did, how many times did you joke around about like, let's just get married in, you know, when we were going to be in London, or let's get married in
I like
Australia.
the elopement idea.
Okay.
You know?
Elopement idea of just like making it a romantic getaway for us two, just get married, not worry about planning and all that. And I wanted the wedding because I wanted.
You want to dance.
I want to
the
dance.
party.
I want to dance and I want the reveal. I want to turn around and see her. She changes. She'll get ready for the day and just put a t-shirt on and she'll walk out and I freak out. Today that happened.
Yeah.
That's
It did.
adorable.
Yeah.
That's going to be some reveal video when you're in like all decked
Oh yeah.
out.
I'm gonna be the guy crying before even I turn around.
You're,
Yeah. So it's great now because we're kind of getting both what we want. Like
Yeah.
we are
Yeah.
eloping this weekend and
Eloping?
Eloping.
Oh, okay.
She said it
I was
right.
like, is that, no. Yeah, we gotta lope it up.
Elope.
Elope.
And then, you know, we will then still get to, you know, when the time is right, plan just a big party. Because now it's not only about like our love, but it's about like the reflection of like life and your relationships and just like valuing everybody that is in your circle, because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, so we're going to do probably big wedding at some point down the line.
I think because we're doing it this now, that it'll just be, we can have a cool party.
Yeah.
Even if it's just in New York, fly everyone out. We just do it here.
Yeah.
You know?
No, New
That'd
York
be
weddings
great.
are snazzy.
Yeah.
But we're definitely flying back to Maui to celebrate. When she rings that bell, I think that's going to be,
I'll
because
cry.
we found out in Maui.
You got engaged in Maui too, right?
We got engaged in Kauai.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we were on a family, like my family vacation with all of us, and we had shows in Maui and Honolulu.
Valentine's Day, like
And
it was
Valentine's
a whole
Day.
thing.
And it was just 3 days into our trip, we got the news. Going into it, we had suspected something maybe was going to come back. Not great news. But then that morning, she had woken up, time difference-wise. It was like 5:30, 6 a.m. when you woke up, and I came outside, and you had found out. And it obviously didn't, aid the trip. But it was something that we decided that we're going to go back, and Maui's not going to be tainted by this.
We're
and
going to do a
back
redo
Good.
in the
and do
future.
it. Yeah.
Hawaii, obviously the common theme here. Well, where did that start? I mean, I've never been. I'm jealous that you get to go to Hawaii so much.
I'm a West Coast girl,
right.
so for me, Hawaii is very like a normal like vacation spot.
Okay.
And
First time I was in Hawaii. I've been to Hawaii now 4 times in the past 2 years, and I've never been prior.
Okay.
I did a show in Honolulu, and that was great. And then I wanted to take a break, a vacation, so we got an Airbnb and just went to Hawaii, and that's where I had planned my proposal to her. And then that was just a vacation, and then I just went back recently for Honolulu and Maui shows. I did shows there, and then that was just going to be it, and we're just going to hang out. And so just by happenstance, just that we were going there.
yeah.
Okay. Well,
But since you didn't get to experience Maui, which Maui is one of my favorites,
It's beautiful.
that I was like, okay.
But it was like we were at a resort at the time, and then we were just kind of also like, not sulking, but we weren't exactly like, let's go hiking tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know?
I was technically like in a weird transition too at the time because I was like, oh, do we go back home to LA now and do treatment? Oh, do I transfer care and insurance? It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
So it took up a lot of the
Because
the
we were
energy.
supposed to go from Hawaii straight to New Zealand, Australia,
Got it.
Japan. And so that was like a big like, oh, let's just adjust things now. And I honestly like we rescheduled my all those shows in Australia and in Japan for this year, but everybody was not a single negative for the internet, not a single negative comment, not a single negative message. Everybody was like, absolutely, see you when you're ready. And it was so nice.
Yeah.
And everyone, all of my messages are all about you and support for you.
Well, the other element of this is the fertility treatments that you family planning, obviously something you would have been talking about anyway because you're getting married, but this changes things, may escalate things, or make you have to take some different steps. So what exactly have you done, and how did those conversations go?
Yeah, so one thing I learned with chemo is that it does impact your reproductive health. It does raise the risk of you not being able to conceive. And so we were, knowing that we wanted kids in the future, we thought, okay, well, let's do IVF just to have that option. And so we dedicated 2 weeks before doing anything else breast cancer-wise to doing IVF. It was at RMA of New York. They were amazing. I don't want to say they specialize in onco-fertility, but they understand it. And all that really means is taking care of patients who have cancer who also want to do IVF. Because a lot of times, I feel like doctors almost like frown upon it, or they want to put fear in you, and like, no, you need to take care of this cancer. And so a lot of women don't even realize, like, no, you can take 10 days to dedicate time to your reproductive health and your future family plans. And they were just on it with what they wanted to do. And it was 10 days of just shots. We did, they were able to retrieve 17 eggs. Of those 17, 6 became embryos. And then we actually find out tomorrow, of those 6, I dumb it down and say, like, who survived the boss level, you know, because there's still like this like cell development week, and see like how many, see how many of those 6 are like good to go. So
Yeah, the doctor said that, like, my sample was the best she's ever seen.
That's the word on the street here, actually. Everyone's talking about it.
I'm sorry.
he's going through something.
It's been too long since I made a joke.
we got too serious.
Yeah, he's the comedic relief always.
Yeah, which is good. We need that. Okay, so in an ideal world, just down the line when everyone's healthy, happy, marriage is set, we'll use those embryos, or just, or is that like the backup plan? Not backup plan. I don't.
Sure, no,
wanna
that's
speak out
okay.
of turn, but-
No, not at all. Because I've used that as well. Because a lot of times I do also get messages from women who said they had cancer and then they were still able to conceive naturally. So I think there'll be a period of time, depending again how things go, where we'll just let life happen, and if I conceive naturally, great. And if we find that I wasn't able to, then we have the option to then try to either use those embryos personally or even a surrogate. So we at least feel good that we, like you said, like have those options. Whatever that option is, we have multiple. So that's kind of where we're at when it comes to that.
Okay, well, I mean, it's all the things that it's a lot of things at once, but you clearly are on the same page, you're agreeing with each other, you are making these big moves, and you feel like at ease about it, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what you're looking for. It's not always fun to have to speed it up for certain reasons,
Right.
but like at the end of the day, these are conversations you would have been having anyway, and now you're just doing it.
Yeah, all our 2025 plans are the same, but just like in a different form.
Just quicker.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
March is a big month for you guys always.
2025 has been a heck of a year so far.
It really has been.
Yes.
Well, I actually did a different anniversary I had written down for you. It was almost 4 years ago, March 15th, the day they announced you as the Bachelorette.
Oh,
So March 15th, 2021, Katie, what would you be telling her if you could call her up and be like, hi, 4 years from now.
Oh my gosh, she wouldn't even believe it. I'd be like, you're gonna get breast cancer, but you're also gonna marry a comic from New York, and you're gonna actually move there for him. I'd be like, you're crazy.
Whisper to yourself, wait for the short, funny guy.
Just drop the roses now, girl.
Yeah.
Avoid the situationships.
Ignore
Just
the hunks.
coming.
I'll be waiting for you, baby.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Well, thank you guys so much for
Yeah.
sharing with me. I feel like that's
Yeah.
a nice little bookend
Yes.
on that. Oh, the other question I had for you was any outreach from someone that may surprise us, either about the engagement or about breast cancer in a couple days with the wanting.
I've had a lot of guys at comics I look up to that
Yeah.
I've communicated less with, just because I'm scared of that stuff. So I'm like,
Totally.
I'm also a really big fan.
Yeah.
But I've had comics that I really respect reach out. Obviously a lot of friends that are comics, but a lot of comics that I've never really interacted with that I've always looked up to kind of reach out and offer their support, and that means a lot to me, because comics are a little can be void of empathy and void of emotions, or at least showing them. So
Yeah.
it means a lot. But she's gotten an outpour.
Well, I know the answer she's probably really looking for. And I don't know if he even realizes it. But I will say, like, many of the guys, the top 5 guys even from my season, all have reached out, sent words of support.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Well, a lot of people
That's
reached.
great. That's who you're on the phone with in the back.
Surprise!
But you know, everyone was very, very sweet and supportive, and I think that's just what's like so great about that experience is like we all recognize kind of what we went through in that little bubble of social media and reality TV, and at the end of the day, we're all humans and we all have a heart, and the guys have been great in reaching out and offering their support.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Again,
Let's do
there's
the
going to
guys.
be so Saturday's a wedding, Sunday's a fight.
Let's make it Friday. Let's do it.
Nice little black right now. Okay, well, again, thank you so much, you guys, for coming and being so
Yes.
honest. I can't even tell you, I was on Google, like, doing commonly searched questions, and the Bachelorette ones are gone. It's all about this. So it's clearly people are looking this up, which, as you should make you obviously feel good knowing that people know, and that kind of influence you can't really buy. You know what I mean? Like, you
Right.
can't, that's genuine, and it's people who connected with you maybe through a dating show or through your Instagram, but now are like having life things that are going to change. And that's a really cool thing, and we joke about the internet, but just something that you can't really create unless it's like organic and people want to root for you. So just letting you know that that's definitely
I do want to
happening.
give her flowers with this too. The amount of times that she's walks into a room reading a message from somebody saying they got checked because of her, she's taking what's happening to her and doing good. And it's so apparent, and with her, she's such a good person that like her seeing that she's actually affecting, it's almost like she's like, I'm glad it happened to me with my platform so that I can help other people. She says that like every day that she's helping other people, and that means the most.
Yeah.
You have like the healthiest outlook on life ever. Like,
amazing.
how do I get some of this?
Yeah, I'm lucky as heck.
You're so sweet, baby. Thank you.
You're welcome.